Here we are, Go Math Unit 5. Already this far into the school year, it's pretty amazing. So we're at Go Math Unit 5, Lesson 1, and today we're modeling percents. So when we're talking about percents, so far we've looked at numbers as how we can evaluate a value on a number, right? We can add with them, we can subtract, we can multiply, we can divide. From there we worked into fractions and how we can look at them as a relationship to each other. We moved on beyond that to positive and negative integers and what happens if we extend our information of numbers past the 0 mark. That included coordinate grids. Then we looked at ratios, which are basically equivalent fractions. We looked at unit rates, right, which is taking something down to one single number in a comparison of two numbers through division as a ratio. But we want to talk now about numbers as a percent. So one way that you could talk about a large quantity of numbers, like number of boys to number of girls in a classroom, would be in a ratio. But if we want to take that same information and we want to put it into another way to express that, we can express it as a percent. And a percent in regards to a ratio is sort of like the ratio of 100. So if we had 25 students in a classroom and 4 of them, so 25 students in a classroom, and 4 of the 25 were boys, right? I would need to know the equivalent fraction or the equivalent ratio to get that to 100. Well, I would multiply by 4, and I would multiply by 4, and I would find that 16 out of 100 would be boys. So if I had 100 students, 16 of them would be boys. So that tells me that portion of that larger number as to how I want to express whatever I'm looking for. But the word itself, percent, actually means out of 100. So you have a century that's 100 years. You have 100 cents in a dollar, right? So cent means 100, percent means out of 100. So what I've done here is I've quarantined off 100 blocks. And out of this, I have 10 by 10 square. If I take this and I fill in 10 blocks, I filled in 10 out of 100, which is equal to 10%. So that's all I have to do. I'm looking at 100 or a percent, and I'm taking that number out of 100. So if I added 2 more, well, now instead of 10%, I get 12%. 12 out of 100, 12%. All right, so what does that look like in your book? It's going to go something like this. I look at 35% on the 10 by 10 grid. Again, 10 across by 10 high, there's 100 blocks here. Feel free to count them if you run out of things to do today. So each one of these blocks, out of 100, each block is 1%. So if I need 35%, I would say, well, here's 10, and here's 20, and here's 30, and here's 5. So that's 35%, which literally means 35 out of 100. Take a look at one more. If I'm looking at Meg's meteorite collection, clean that up there. So Meg's meteorite collection, I want to know what percentage of them are iron. She has iron, she has stone, and she has stony iron. Well, we just want plain old iron. I come over here and I see 21 of them are iron. Well, if this were a ratio, I would need to know the total number over here. I end up with 21 plus 76, which gives me 97, plus 3 more for stony iron, and I have 100. It's probably not a coincidence, it just makes this easy. So 21 out of 100 are iron. It says so right here in this number. 21 out of 100. So out of 100 literally means percent. So 21 out of 100 meteorites are iron. That's 21 over 100. There's your fraction or your ratio. That makes it 21%. If I have 100 blocks here, I need to fill in 10, 20, one of them. So I've modeled my percentages. So again, now we're looking at how to describe large portions of data in relation to 100. It's just a ratio or an equivalent fraction to 100. That makes it a percent, because percent literally means out of 100.